Alright everybody, so I finally decided to hop back on here to check in and see how everybody's doing. I was surprised, so that last video that I made, man, I had to overcome a lot of fear just to make that video, and then the audio turned out bad, wasn't able to fix it, decided to post it anyways, and it looks like it's still, even if it only helps a couple people, it's worth it. And so it has a couple hundred views. The first one I didn't even plan on putting on the internet, has over 500, and that's plenty for me. I didn't have any expectations for it. And there's 18 people subscribed here, and that just shows me that a lot of people are having the same experience that I had and am having. I'm far enough down the road where it's not near as terrible as it was in the beginning. But I get the feeling that there's probably a lot of people that are at where I was at 2 years ago, and these kind of videos are just going to be a huge help. So I wanted to get back on here, and for the people who are subscribed, hopefully I can be of more help. As a person who has healed from pelvic pain, overcome back pain, and a ton of other stuff, I want to talk more about addiction. I know that that's a huge thing for a lot of people. Dealing with TMS as well. So I'm going to do my best, and the TMS message is very close to my heart, and so it's my mission to be part of the help. And so, yeah, when you've got to experience healing with the knowledge, it just becomes extremely important to help other people do the same. I recently realized that it's one of the few messages and things in my life that I would actually die for. It's that important to me. It saved my life and pulled me out of the depths of hell. And so it needs to do that for others. There's so many people suffering unnecessarily because they just don't have this knowledge, or they're unable to believe it, or whatever it is. And so people like me and many others who have actually seen it work and have healed, we have to give our stories to give confidence for people who aren't sure about it. So one of the things I want to start doing, because I haven't really been sure exactly to what to make videos about, is if anybody has specific questions, I can hop on here and just give a brief thing or a long thing. We'll see how it goes. Trying to answer questions. And so things like, I think a lot of people have questions about, like, what does alcohol have to do with TMS? Do I need to quit drinking? Yada yada yada. What does nutrition have to do with TMS? What does exercise have to do with TMS? These are questions that come up for everybody, and in the last 2 years I've had to consider them a great deal because they're just questions that come up. Anyways, so I want to check in, see how all of you are doing. I've been doing pretty darn well. Since it started to get nicer out, I got out of the gym and I've been running a ton. My sister has convinced me to start doing boot camp classes with her at the hot yoga studio, so it's in a 108-degree room. So that's been a hell of a lot of fun. I've been doing a lot of hot yoga and playing a ton of music, so that stuff's all pretty normal. One of the other things that I've been really dedicating myself to lately is I've been building a website and writing a blog, and it's completely dedicated to helping people learn about TMS and then exploring my story. And so hopefully people can relate with that, and it will give them help along the way too. So in the blog, different than these videos, is when I write about it, I can get all these little details and really suss out some of the difficult stuff to understand with TMS, because I know it can, in some ways it's simple, but in a lot of ways, we overthink it. And there's a lot of questions around what to do and what not to do, and all of that sort of stuff about belief and doubt, what's TMS, what is not. there's just so much stuff. So that's what I'm doing in my blog, is writing. You know, they're like, each one takes about 10 minutes to read, and I dive in and just can get everything I know and have learned along the way out on the page. And it also lets me dig into the specifics of my story. And, you know, and that's difficult, but it's really healing for me to be able to do that. And then a lot of it's pretty comical, because I have enough hindsight that I can kind of laugh at a lot of stuff I've been through in this time. So I would really encourage you to check out my website. It is how to say FU, letters FU, politely.com. And you know, that's what I'm dedicating myself to doing. And so anybody who can get on there and read, that would be awesome. So, and then on the video thing, if you have any specific questions, post them in the comments, and then I can take a look, and then whenever I feel like it, I can just hop on here and try to give my interpretation of an answer to your questions. Yeah, so that might be the majority of it. Again, check out my website, howtosayfupolitely.com. That's where I'm going to be doing all the writing. And then, you know, I hope to do more of these videos. It's just, it's harder for me than writing, because I have to overcome stage fright. I have to work on, it's just super awkward looking at yourself in a computer screen and talking to nobody, but as if you're talking to, you know, at least 18 people, or potentially a bunch of people. It's all new to me, and this whole thing has just been a big exercise in overcoming resistance. But I know it's what I want to do, and so I'm just going to keep working on overcoming it. Hopefully the microphone works today. That's another thing I'm learning. So we'll see how it goes. And I'm going to leave you today with a quote to consider, and this applies very much so to TMS. And it's from an unknown source. I just heard it on a podcast the other day, and they couldn't remember where it came from. So, faith is not belief without proof, but trust without reservation. Okay, I'll talk to you guys soon.